Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yɛkyerɛkyerɛ mo nyinaa adɔfoɔ. Yɛgye sɛ mo nyinaa mo ho yɛ. Yɛn nso yɛ ho yɛ. How are you all? How is the family? We hope all is well with you. Thanks very much for being with us. We appreciate the work you are doing for us, sharing the videos, comment of encouragement, all the suggestions. We are really, really grateful. Thank you very much once again. We are here again with another special edition of Ramadan. Muslims are fasting, so we decide to discuss certain things. We decided to flip the other side of the coin. So get ready, prepare, and listen to another education, information, and knowledge episode. Thanks very much. When the reality of life is uncovered, change is a must. Nobody should be upset with what we are doing. We are not fighting anybody. We are not impugning any religion. We are not speaking to derogate any religion. No, that's not what we are doing. We are just flipping the other side of the coin. Thanks once again. We are grateful for your effort and the support you are giving us. Today, this will be the last special edition for Ramadan, actually, for the Ramadan discussions until we get to the religion, and then we will discuss the five pillars of Islam over there. Then we'll talk more because we haven't said anything yet concerning these activities in Islam. We haven't said anything yet. We are not careful whether salat, fasting, hajj, whatever. We've never said anything in careful. So we are just giving you some updates. We are just giving you some understanding and trying to turn the other side of the coin for you to understand. Today, it is elaboration. We want to clarify the point we made in the past video or the previous video about the Ramadan, about the Islamic fasting. And in the past or in the previous video, we talked about the origin of the fasting, which got to do with Judaism. And we also talked about the Christian cycle. And we also talked about the confusions. And we said that the confusions means that these tongues are man-made tongues. It is not coming from the creator. Nipana Wakisha. And to about elaborate on some point there. So stay tuned, be with us, and thank you very much. Don't forget you share the video. And also, this is the first time I'm doing this. I've never done this before. Our page is also on YouTube. Go there and subscribe and follow. The name is the same. Just the name you see here on this page, the same name over there. Follow us and support us so that we can do more. Now, first and foremost, if you remember vividly, we talked about Prophet Muhammad going to Medina to see to see the Jews in Medina fasting. And he asked, and they told him they are fasting to thank God for saving them from Egypt in the hands of Pharaoh under the leadership of Moses. This is what triggered the Islamic fasting. Now, and I told you in the previous video that this particular narration of the hadith, in fact, the hadith is in Bukhari. This is the problem. The hadith is in Bukhari. To majority of Muslims, Bukhari book is untouchable book. For your information, for majority of Muslims, the book of Bukhari is seen as the second canon book of Islamic religion. Quran comes first, the Sahih Bukhari, Sahih means authentic. So the authentic book of Bukhari comes second. So to majority Muslims, Bukhari is untouchable. Touch Bukhari and you have problem. The book of Bukhari, not if you say touch Bukhari, it will be only Bukhari outside there. I'm sorry. Touch the book of Bukhari and you have problem with some Muslims. This is the point. Now, the hadith is in Bukhari. Now, since the hadith got something to do with Jews, if if you really want to get the information about this fasting and the beginning of Ramadan fasting and even the fasting of the Jews, you need to go back to check. You need to go back to see, to visit Jewish tradition or religious traditions. So people like us reading and researching and giving information because we are giving the realities on the ground of those religions. We've done that. We've done the research, we checked. Honestly, what the Hadith is talking about, Judaism don't know it. The Jewish tradition don't know anything about that fasting. The fasting which is related to them being Jews being saved from Pharaoh. Jewish tradition, there's a fasting in it, but the fasting got nothing to do with Jews being saved. Ɛne Jewfoɔ efi Israel man Egypt man mu under leadership of Moses no biribiara ne Jewfoɔ system mu saa. In Judaism, there is no Thanksgiving fasting for them being saved from Egypt and from the tyranny of Pharaoh. They don't have such fasting. But this hadith in Bukhari is talking about this. The hadith in Bukhari talking about the fasting of the Jews is relating the fasting of the Jews to this incident, which is wrong. In Judaism, there is nothing like that. Ɛwɔ Jews no, bibi saa in hɔ. Nti hadith no, one of hadith's problem. No sɛ, in the previous video, I told you the hadith has problem. One of the hadith problem is that the hadith has given us wrong information about one of the religious ritual or religious activity of Judaism. That is one. The systematic fasting that the Jews have is known as Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is simply translated in Arabic as Yom Kafara or Yom Bifran. Now, Yom Kippur, Yom Kafara, Yom Bifran don't happen to do with being saved from anybody. No. Yom Kippur means fasting of the atonement day. Fasting of the atonement day. Fasting of the atonement day. Atonement got nothing to do with being saved from Egypt and under the tyranny of Pharaoh. And then we atonement and being saved from Egypt and so wrong information over there in the Hadith. Wrong information. Jewish have systematic and fixed fasting, but it got nothing to do with them being saved. Atonement has no relationship with being saved from Pharaoh and from Egypt. It's clear. Now, second point concerning this issue is that because it is related to Jews, it means that they have idea about fasting more than the Arabs. More than the Arabs. The Jews have the idea of fasting more than the Arabs. The Arabs don't know anything because the idea of fasting is coming from the Jews. So the Arabs don't know anything about fasting. So if they've seen Jews fasting, and we will Jews also fasting, Emma, Emma relate every fasting, no, Emma, now 30 days fasting. And before now, 29 days and 30 days of fasting now. What it means is that anything about fasting must be learned from the Jews. Anything about fasting must be learned from the Jews. And the same share the ever fasting every Jew for so including the day of the beginning of the fasting. The reason why this is related directly to the Jews and not Christians is that Christians don't have fixed fasting. In Christianity, there is fasting, but there is no fixed fasting because they can declare, a group of Christians can declare some days for fasting 21 days, 7 days, 14 days. And these 21 days or 14 or 5 days or 3 days can be in the beginning of the month or at the middle of the month or at the last part of the month. So In fasting in Christianity does not worry much about the first day of the moon. No, because assuming someone is supposed to fast in the beginning, in the first week of a month, if it's not the first day, it doesn't matter. They can start at any day. So you see, Christianity don't have trouble in Christian cycling in terms of fasting. They don't have that problem. But Jews have this problem because the atonement day, the fasting of the atonement day of the Jews got to do with two things. They have a particular man for it, and they have a day for it. So, because of that, because they have a particular month for that, it means that they will be calculating the days of the month. They will be very, very conscious with the lunar phases. That is lunar calculation. They will be very, very conscious with the lunar calculations and the lunar phases. So in this way, you must know how does Jews consider the first day of the moon. Jews don't consider first day of the moon by the citation of the crescent. Jews fo amammerɛ mu no, ɛnyɛ ɛda a emu ehuru bosome ɛna wɔde counte sɛ ɛda no na bosome no ɛyɛ first day. So in Jewish tradition, it is not citation, it is the birth of the moon. The birth of the moon is not the citation of the moon, and not the same thing. Ɔsrane no n'awoɔ ɛnyɛ ɔsrane no ne first day a yɛbɛwo ɔsrane no nhoro. So in Jewish tradition, it is calculation. It is calculation they do, not citation. So they calculate and fast. They don't cite to fast. So you can see in Jewish tradition, there is not something like we're going to cite the crescent, we're going to cite the crescent, we're going to look for the moon, and all that. All this wahala, Jewish don't do it because they calculate it. They go with lunar calendar, so they are good in the calculation. So picking the idea as Islamic religion, taking the idea from the Jewish, the Islamic religion has done itself, must have done a good thing by learning proper way of lunar calculation from the Jews. But this Islam didn't do. So every year there's a confusion. This is the second point I want to explain to you. Now the problem with the fasting in Islamic religion and the day of starting is this. There is hadith that says Muslims should fast by crescent citation, and they should end the fasting by crescent citation. This is the whole problem. But you cannot understand these things if you don't understand the culture of the Arabs. You can't understand these things. Now, listen to this. Arabs are described with Islam. Islamic texts. In fact, Quran describe Arabs as unlettered people. This is not true. But let's assume this is true for the sake of argument. They are unlettered people. Because they are unlettered people, they are not good in calculation. Right? Yes. They are not good in calculation. Unlettered people cannot calculate. Even though this is not true, these unlettered prophets and unlettered Arabs were coined to cover up certain things. Unlettered, and I'm not kind, and I'm not kind, and I'm not ready. Obi na di bare, obi na creative because all creative Islamic religion urban, and I'm be a nation just to keep it going so that certain things will be covered. If not, and then the correct prophet Muhammad be down. Now nkurɔfoɔ nim atwerɛ, nkurɔfoɔ nim akenkan, nea wɔn nim atwerɛ na wɔn nim akenkan no uncountable. Mecca as a trading center, Arabs as a traders, they don't know akenkan, they don't know atwerɛ. Are you serious? You got to be kidding me, bro. Business no ɔmo yɛ the same. Business no ɔmo yɛ the same. And Quran is even going against this. Quran is contrary to this because Quran confirms that Arabs knows how to write, they know how to read. But Arabs cannot write, Arabs cannot read. It's just a game, just a mind game to cover up certain things in the Islamic religion. So this is it. But so that since because they said they can't read, they can't calculate, they were told that they should see the crescent before they should fast. This is the thing. You see, this is where the argument is coming from. Now, this argument about seeing the moon and not seeing the moon, starting before some Muslims start first and others start second, third, before the all these things are establishing our point that it is man-made. And we give you examples that it is man-made because things that are made by the source of life, spring being the mother of universe, nobody is arguing about them. And I gave the example of sleeping. Have you ever seen people arguing why one should sleep at 9 a.m. and another will sleep at 10 a.m.? Have you ever seen people arguing about that? We don't argue about that because this is coming from the spring being the mother of universe. Have you ever thought of going to private? Have you ever seen someone arguing about it? Yes, because it is not man-made. You can't argue about it. Now, let's come to the very thing that is holding your life. Breathing. Have you ever seen people arguing about breathing? Nobody is arguing about breathing. Do you know why? We do not argue about breathing because it is coming from the spring being the mother of universe. So we can't argue about that one. Unlike other things in all religions in the world, and Islamic religion being one of them. In Islamic religion, starting all the way from how you go to the washroom to make yourself clean after easing yourself and performing ablution and praying, it is full of argument. Starting all the way from ablution to entering into the mosque, it's full of argument in Islamic books. Argument in Islamic books. Shafi'i has said that. Why has said that. Shafi'i has said that. Maliki has said this. And Ahmad bin Hanbal has said this. Ibn Taymiyyah has said this. Argument from A to Z. The prayer itself, argument. There's a chapter in the Quran that has been said that that chapter, without the chapter, your prayer cannot be fulfilled. Your prayers is invalid. This chapter, there's argument whether the chapter should be started with Bismillah Rahman Rahim or it shouldn't start with Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Some people say you should start with Bismillah Rahman Rahim, but don't say the Bismillah Rahman Rahim loudly. See, the books are full of argument. Yes, this means it is man-made common. It is not coming from the creation. So you just compare all the things that are coming from the spring being the mother of the universe. Nobody, the mother of the universe, nobody is arguing about that. Obi and be able to wait because we be afraid that we can't be waiting. And when we do things already waiting, but we have to be about touching the debris. This is the second point. To also establish that it is not coming from the spring being. Now, third point I want to make is this. Muslims to some extent don't understand their religion. Yes, of course, they do not understand their religion. You know why? Look at this. In the citation of the crescent, they believe in the citation of the crescent. And here is the case. Even in the system of the citation of the crescent, they are making a mistake. Now, there's a confusion between Muslims in terms of who should see the moon and who should start. Let's say which country will see the moon. For another country which didn't see the moon will start commit or commence the fasting. Now look at this. Most of the Sunnis in Ghana, most of the adherents of Sunnah Islam in Ghana will tell you that they are following Saudi Arabia in citation. So when if Saudi Arabia should see the moon, Ghanaians will start fasting with Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia should see the moon and it is end of Ramadan, Ghanaians will stop, most of the Sunnah Muslims in Ghana will stop fasting when Saudis see the moon. No, the problem is this. In citing, the problem is this. In moon citation, if you want to base on the citation of another country, this is what you need to do. What do you need to do? You must be on the same zone with that country. Ask everybody and they will tell you. That is if you really know what you are doing. So when you are only in person of being the kitchen, you have to take the gerinda, kake bin su suka ga wata kayi azumin nan. Ya kamata kai da garin kuna kan zone daya. You have to be on one zone with the country. The hour difference between Saudi Arabia and Ghana is 3 hours 30 minutes, which clearly tells you that Ghana and Saudi are not on the same zone. So what is really worried us? So it's just like this. We do not know what we are doing. That is all. We are just practicing this religions because we don't know. We don't know what we are doing. Perhaps it's because the religion does not belong to us. Seriously, this is the third point. Now, maybe this will be the last point. Now, before the last point, those that are too Saudi oriented in terms of seeing the moon, we are only trying Saudi to do something when starting fasting. They have a logic. They have a logical argument which they don't know anything. Whoever is basing his argument on this logic might be really, really ignorant. Excuse my language. Pardon my manners. Will be really, really ignorant. Jahilci ne, shi ne ana cewa wani saboda wurin ne kibulan musulmai, so ana bin tun da ana bin su ranar arafa wanda bai kama azumi da saudiya ba in arafa ya kai bi saudiya yi arafa. Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me, bro. You got to be kidding me. Wanda bai kama azumi da saudiya ba arafa ma kai yi da saudiya. What is all this? Well, you see, wani lokaci da na wasu maganganu in kuna yi in bari a rena ku waɗanda ke da ɗan tunani waɗanda ke da ɗan nazari da basira sun rena ku an rena ku because you see when you say these things if someone didn't start fasting with Saudi Arabia they should not go to Arafah and they shouldn't pray with Saudi Arabia in big Salah. What kind of childish talk is that? When you do this, people will laugh at you. You will be a laughing stock. Do you know why? If you really understand Islamic theology, Islamic religious rituals are different. Fasting is a different ritual altogether, and Hajj, pilgrimage, is a different ritual altogether. So when it comes to verdict and ruling, you don't use the ruling of fasting on pilgrimage. And when it comes to and the same thing, you don't use the ruling of pilgrimage to Hajj. Ibadu ne guda biyu da suka bambanta. Hukuncin wannan daban, hukuncin wannan daban. Wani rikici kenan. Kun gani, wani lokaci na kuna wasu magana muku dariya. Ibadu daban-daban. Two different religious rituals, and you are making them one. Well, this is nothing. It's just adding up that all these tongues are man-made tongues. So man-made tongues will always face this kind of challenges. My last point, is Ramadan compulsory? No. Don't act also confused. You are confused. First of all, you don't even need these religious activities. Actually, you don't really need them. But should in case you are in it and you are doing it, you should understand. That's why I told you we are flipping the other side of the coin. I'm gonna end with this. It's Ramadan. compulsory. No. See, I saw a video. You see, we are in social media era. People are doing things, people are saying things for fame, actually. People are doing things for fame, people are saying things for fame. There are the lots of, there are so many people doing things, actually. I saw a video. We are all here some months ago, I think beginning of last year, or I don't know, or the ending of last 2 years. I can't remember. Maybe my producer, if I mention it, my producer will remind me, will tell me which. And one lady known as one lady, she's this kind of celebrities that does things on social media to become famous, and she really became, people like all sorts of things she was doing there. So she became famous on social media. She's known as a Clapping Polo. And I saw a video that she was in a restaurant just this fasting. She was in the restaurant with a boyfriend. In fact, they were enjoying themselves. They were eating big chicken on the plate with food and some drink. So they were there enjoying themselves. And one guy came to video her saying that the Kraken Pulu is trying to disgrace Islam or something like that. She says she's a Muslim. She's supposed to fast. Actually, if you look at her demeanor in the video, she didn't like it. I don't know if the incident was planned so that she can trend. It could be because these people, because of trend, they do so many things. I don't know. Maybe they are on the planning. But whether on the planning or not planning, why should you be videoing people because they are Muslims and they decide not to fast? Why would you do that? Now, I think that is not enough. When you go to northern part of Nigeria, in fasting times, when you eat at public, you will be arrested. They have this Islamic army, Islamic soldiers or scout or whatever. I don't know. When you eat daytime, what the day we are in northern part of Nigeria, where they chill. Like seriously, what kind of joke is that? Which kind of child's play is that? Now, the thing you said it is for Allah. So what's your problem? The person has his own problem with Allah. What's your problem? You see, this is the issue. This is the issue. Now, let's come back to the point. Is Ramadan compulsory? No. I will prove to you with Quran right now. I'm proving to you with Quran right now. Maybe this video will be a little bit long, but I'm proving to you that Ramadan is not my force. It's not compulsory. Now, in Islamic theology, in Islamic Sharia, we have the levels of Islamic activities. We have wajib or farida, and we have sunnah. We have mubah, we have jaiz, we have haram, we have makruh. All these things are laws governing activities, Islamic religious activities in the religion. Now, wajib is compulsory. Wajib is compulsory, or farida is compulsory. But according to some Islamic scholars, wajib is different, farida is different. All of them gives the meaning. All the two give the meaning of compulsory or necessity, compulsory, wajib. But it's like a farida and wajib have slight difference. One of Islamic jurists and legalists who really differentiate between farida, not farida. That one is a name. This one is Fariba, the letters. The pronunciation of the last letters is not the same. No, it is Arabic language. Fariba and Farida is not the same. Farida is a name, a female name. And I think they have male one too, Farid. Fariba, necessary, compulsory. Now, one of the Islamic legalists and jurists who think wajib is different from Farida is Imam Shafi, precisely Muhammad bin Idris. That is his real name. The Shafi'iyya school of thought founder. He thinks Farida is different, Wajib is different. But actually, Farida, Wajib, they are almost the same thing. Compulsory. Now, Wajib means that something, any Islamic ritual, which is known to be wajib, means that if you did not do it, you will burn in hell. Allah will burn you. So if you didn't do it, if you are in good state that you can do it and you didn't do it, you will be punished for not doing it. If you do it, you will be rewarded. That is what wajib means. Now, is Ramadan wajib? Islamically, they will tell you yes. So they have a way of doing this. Islamic in Islamic law, they ask absolutely ashya, the basis of the religious activities. So an absolute Siyam wajib. The establishment of fasting in Islam is wajib or farida, is compulsory. So if you are in a good state and you didn't fast, you will be punished. If you are in a good state and you didn't fast, you will be punished. You go to hell. Yes. Now, but when you look at Quran, the verse that said that command Muslims to fast, it seems like the Quran has different idea about the fasting. If a verse now, as a Quran with different idea, any verse now, but some kind of enlightened in Arabic language and the construction of the verses of the Quran. Now let's do it. But for this our signal, but please let me do this to prove to you that Ramadan is not compulsory. Do you know why this lesson is important? It is important because it is only people like us that will sacrifice ourselves to tell you this. Because we are thinking of you. See, you are outside there, hard work, going up and down in this hot sun. The kind of heat that is going on in Ghana right now. My brother, look sharp. Look sharp. If you hurt yourself and die, nobody is going to follow you into the grave. If you shorten your lifespan, nobody will follow you to the grave. Look sharp. Look sharp. Have you ever thought of this? All these people that give Ramadan lectures in the mosque in the evening after 3 p.m. to 5:30 or so before you break the fast. Have you ever checked them well? Some of these scholars, some of these malams speaking, giving you the Quranic commentary. If you check them well and check their facial expression, are you sure all of these people are fasting and coming to speak for that long time? Maybe you have to check it. I just draw your attention. Try to notice. Now listen. I'm going to use two different verses in the Quran to prove to you that fasting is not compulsory. At least Islamic fasting is not compulsory. Now listen. The verse in Quran chapter number 2 that is talking about the fasting of Islamic religion is Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Oh, you who believe. The word amanu here actually has something like, we don't want to waste much time. If not, I'll tell you this amanu thing. But let's move. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Oh, you who believe. Kutiba alaykum siyam. Fasting has been prescribed to you. Kutiba. Now, the word that makes fasting compulsory in this verse is the word kutiba, prescription. Now, kutiba, one of the meanings of the word kutiba is furiba, to make compulsory, to make something compulsory. Kutiba, furiba, to make something compulsory. Kutiba, mujiba, to make something compulsory. So this is the only verse that is entreating Muslims to fast. Now the word is kutiba. Fasting has been prescribed. Now the kutiba here, the first letter of kutiba, which is kaf, has dhamma, which means in Arabic syntax, In Arabic grammar, this word kutiba here is known as mabni lil majhul. What it means is that whoever prescribed the fasting is no more. That is the meaning of the word kutiba. Whoever prescribed the fasting is no more. There is nothing in this verse. There is nothing in the verse showing or indicating who prescribed the fasting. In the verse, there is nothing. There showing that this is the person who prescribed the fasting. So it is not very much good. Nobody. So you can't tell who prescribed the fasting based on this verse. But the reason why it is said that it is Allah who prescribed the fasting is that Quran is the words of Allah. Quran is the book of Allah. So if Quran is the book of Allah, all the messages, all the words in the Quran is from Allah. So this verse is also from Allah, since the verse is also part of the Quran. The verse is also from Allah. So it is Allah. So here you will say it is Allah that prescribed the fasting. But the question is, why is Allah refusing to show his face in this year on the good why is he refusing to show his face that he is the one that prescribed the fasting? I don't think Allah is seeing the prince and me. I'm not sure I'm going to comment as all of us. No, I'm not going to do it. According to me, like I am share every amount. I want to come here while you're according to me share and in the point number one. So put it down. Last year be a trefuriba in share, Mujiba in share, into a share, by force. Why we are how you. But let's look at the Quran. It's really Kutiba means Furida. It's Kutiba really means in share in Quran. Let's go and check. Now let me take you to Quran chapter number 58, which is known as Surah Al-Mujadila or Surah Al-Mujadala, verse 21. Allah says, Kataballahu la'aglibanna ana wa rusuli inna Allah qawiyyun aziz. Listen, here he says, Kataballah. Allah has decreed the same word. Over there in Quran chapter number 2, it is Kutiba. Here, Kataba. It is the same word. It is the same word. But here, the one that decreed, the one that pronounced, the one that declared is known. And you know why? Who is that? Allah. Because Kataballahu. Allah is attached to the word. So it is Allah that has made a decree here. Quran chapter 58, verse 21. Kataballahu. Allah has decreed. Allah has proclaimed La Aglibanna. Indeed, I Allah La Aglibanna. I will surely conquer. I will surely defeat my enemies. And Rusuli. And my messengers will also surely defeat their enemies. Because in Allah, indeed Allah is Kawi, the most strongest, Al-Aziz, and the most mighty. Kawi al-Aziz, strongest and most mighty. Kawi al-Aziz. Now, Quran chapter 58 verse 21 is said, Kataba. So, if the meaning of Kataba is Furida, the meaning of Kataba is Wujiba, which is compulsory, then it is compulsory for Allah and his messengers to defeat their enemies. But it is rather the opposite. The reality on the ground is showing that the messengers of Allah, it is not all of them that have defeated their enemies. Some were killed. According to Islam, John the Baptist is a prophet. It's a messenger according to Islam. John the Baptist was killed. So John the Baptist is part of the reason, but he didn't win. So if Kataballahu in Quran chapter number 58 verse 21 means necessary that God will Allah will defeat his enemies and his messengers will defeat his enemies, then the contrary has happened. So the word Kataba cannot be compulsory. if it were to be, the word were to be compulsory, the victory of all the Rusul, the messengers of Allah, would have been compulsory as well. But some of them were defeated and killed. Yahya was killed. Prophet Yahya was killed. Prophet Muhammad himself has been defeated in battle before. And he's also a Rusul, he's also a messenger of Allah. So Ketaba in Quran chapter 58, verse 21, doesn't mean compulsory. Now, if that is the language of the Quran, then what is the difference between the Kataba here and the Kataba in Quran chapter number 2, which is saying Kutiba alaykum siyam? The one in Quran chapter number 58 verse 21 is supposed to even be more strong and more compulsory than the one in Quran chapter number 2, which is talking about the fasting. Because the one in Quran chapter 58 verse 21 has said it is Ketaba. It has shown clearly who has pronounced and made a decree. It is Allah. And what Allah said there didn't happen. On the practical grounds, it didn't happen. It was rather contrary. Some of the Muslims were defeated, some were killed. So the Katabam now over there is not compulsory. So if the Katabam now in Quran chapter number 58 verse 21 is not compulsory, and the realities on the ground are supporting and establishing the point that that Kataba is not compulsory in the reality, then the best one that is supposed not to be compulsory will be the one in Quran chapter number 2, which says Kutiba, which we don't even know who gave the Kutiba. So this is Quran. It's not Hadith. It's not very graphic. Sit down well, assess this message, this particular point, and you understand. Fasting, Islamic fasting for that matter, is not compulsory. Don't kill yourself, brother. If the spring being, the mother of the universe, will give you something, you're not asking something in return. The only place where you see you give something to get something is between humans. It is the human system that you give something for something should be given to you. But if your God or Allah you think is also like that, you give your hungry stomach for him to give you something in return, I don't think he's God or he's the spring being. That is human system, and you know the answer. Thank you very much for watching. This has been a little bit longer, but it's interesting video, right? Let me see under the comment section. Share and comment. Thank you very much. Until we meet again, I say to you, bye bye.